How to get a state tax lien removed. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get a state tax lien removed. Now, I'm smiling about this because there's opportunity here. This is what I promise. I'm going to promise to show you how these things are affected, how you can get rid of them, and just as importantly, how you can benefit financially. I think that this is the tip of the iceberg, and if you stick around to the very end, okay, I'll show you a little surprise, if you will. And listen, every once in a while you see a video, okay, that you think somebody else should be watching. This is probably one of those videos. Hit that share button, hit that like, and send it off to them. You got to understand the civics of our country, okay? We are the United States of America. I think a lot of people got a civics lesson during COVID when they kicked it back to the states, and every state made their own COVID rules on that, which is exactly the way it should have been. I'm not going to argue politics here, but if you understand how, state and feds are set up, you go all the way back to Katrina, that horrible hurricane that hit Louisiana. There was a lot of consternation about Bush when he was National Guard. Well, he's not allowed to issue or send National Guard in to help unless the state asks for it. And there's all sorts of rules around fed and state. So there's all this separation on this. So the states have a lot of power. I mean, a lot of power, especially when it comes to liens on an individual that lives within the state. They live outside the state, there's not a whole lot they can do about that. If you go all the way back to the Bonnie and Clyde days and Dillinger, they would rob places during the Depression and stuff like that, like a bank, and they literally would drive across county lines and then state lines, and literally the sheriffs couldn't cross the county line. So you gotta understand the breakup. Sheriffs deal with the county, police deal with the city, state troopers deal with the whole state. All of those types of things are there. And once you start looking at it like that, you're going, okay, I'm kind of getting this. You've got to break the county or the state down. California, Texas, New York, Colorado, Florida. Think of them like countries. Okay, the country of California, the country of Arkansas, the country of Florida. How they initiate these rules, and I'm saying, again, not for political space, but COVID really revealed that. If you don't like how this state does it, everybody move. There was this huge, the biggest migration of people that the country has ever seen happened during COVID because they were saying, either I don't like the way they're doing it or I want a different rules on it. And it's like, wow, local government does matter. If you owe the state money for a number of different reasons, it could be child support, it could be franchise tax board, it could be unemployment taxes you weren't paying. It could be, I've said this in other videos, the state came after me because they said I didn't pay registration on a boat that I had already sold, but that person had it registered in their name because they had it up a private lake. And so they didn't think they needed to register it. And so all of a sudden I started getting these bills for it. And they were aggressive. They came right after me, and I had sold the property, and I'm like, wait, whoa. I'm at closing going, why is there $3,600 taken? Well, the state owes the money. I go, but I don't. They're like, yeah, you deal with the state. Sorry, but we have to take it out. I mean, there's that much leverage the state has on this. So be aware of that. It ain't good either. On your credit, it can affect your credit, so we'll talk about getting those things removed. Child support is probably the worst. If you're not paying child support, you got to pay it. Period, end of story. That happens quick and it happens fast. If there's some discussion or argument about whether you've been paying it, the best way to resolve that is get the county agency involved where you pay the county and they distribute that money. And it can be automatically paid. That way there can be no, you know what I'm saying, funny business going on. I didn't get the check type of a deal. So that's a way to mitigate that potentially happening out there. Federal things don't necessarily go to your credit report as quickly, states do. They will go immediately. So you want to constantly keep eyeballing. If you see something on a state level go on your, on a property or something letter, make sure you're looking at your credit report too to make sure that's not being handled on that. Here's the bottom line is, can you remove a state tax lien against a property? Yes, pay them. That's it. If you don't owe the money, okay, you can have explanations of that and put it on your credit report while you're fighting it. I don't recommend doing that. Just fight them. Understand, it ain't fair, but it is what it is. During that process, until you get this resolved, I know somebody who's in litigation on some roof stuff and what have you, and you can't do anything with your credit. I'm not in the situation where my credit makes or breaks my business because I've got enough that it's okay. But I mean, again, it can affect you really badly. And it always seems to be when you need it is when you can't get it. So don't try to go after it when you don't need it. Go after it when you do need it. That way, I've got these lines of credit. If something comes up, I've already got this to make it happen. And maybe I pay it to get rid of it and fight them later. I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can do on that. But the first thing is you need to get somebody that understands how to deal with the state. This is so imperative that you do this. I'll give you an example. The state said I owed $10,000. It was $10,000 and change. I'm like, whoa, what the heck? Immediately I got my CPA on it and he just laughed, rolled his eyes, don't worry about it, I'll handle it. And what had happened is they didn't get my returns. And so by the time they got them, they had already said, oh, they guesstimated that I owed $10,000 instead of getting my returns. So it was resolved in a very short amount of time because states are really easy to work with as opposed to like the IRS or federal agencies. So it was resolved really quickly, never hit my credit or anything else like that. But this is stuff that you got to pay attention to on a regular basis. If it does hit your credit, this is super important. First of all, you should be monitoring your credit all the time, making sure you've got a score of 700 or more. Oh, Sean, that's not very good. You should have 800. No, you shouldn't. If you've got an 800 score, that means you're not using it, okay? Sorry, Dave Ramsey. Okay, I get it. If you want to just pay your bills off, pay your house off, and do all that, I get it. My students are trying to do something different. I use my credit all the time. For instance, I've got a property right now that's requiring a little less than 20, about $19,000 worth of rehab. Why would I take my own cash and do that? I've got it. I can write the check. I take a credit card. Wells Fargo right now is offering me 0% interest with a 1 month 0% interest. Okay, I've got a $30,000 line of credit. I pay everything with that credit card. It's free money. Okay, while that property is being rehabbed, now I can sit back and look at this and go, am I going to rent this property, pull some cash, pay that off, use that for another day or whatever. But in the meantime, I'm not being charged for the money. It's like free money. The reason these credit card companies give you that is they hope at the end of 21 months, I'm not going to do anything with it and I just keep using the card. I don't do that. I keep track of all of those credit cards. I know where their miles are. And this is, again, this is so important. I have a credit card right now that offered 5 times points as long as I book airline tickets through this particular airline. All of my team is flying that airline. Why would I not do that? So my team knows to use that credit card. I'm getting 5 times points. I just went on a 1-month vacation. Some of you have seen the videos. I was in Africa and Europe. That whole trip, we took 10 different flights, some 15 hours long, business class, 100% paid for by points. Sorry, Dave Ramsey, I'm gonna do that. That would have cost literally, not thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars for those tickets. And I got it for free because they were offering these incentives and I was using those for my properties to make that happen. This is so crucial. Understand how credit works and play the game. There's creditcards.com. I love them. I've been using them for probably 18 years or 15 years. I don't know, a long time. I go there every month and I find out what the specials are. Which one gives me the most points? Which one gives me the 0%, how long they do. And I rotate them on a regular basis. Then at the end of the 21 months, I'll call Wells Fargo up and go, look, I love you, you love me. I've got Chase over here that wants to give me 0%. If you want to extend that, I'd like it. I'm the most expensive client they have because it's more expensive to go get a new client than to retain me. If they're not willing to do that, I got 18 other credit card companies that are willing to do that. That's how you utilize that system. So keeping track of all that stuff, making sure these federal, state, and all those other stuff, keeping that, you've got to play the game and you got to play it correctly and make sure you got it. Now, if you've got credit issues and it's on your credit report, don't worry about it. I got a little mini course on that. I can show you how to do that. I can show you how to take these problems that you see out there and make some money on it. All you have to do is go to my HigginsMethod.com. I got a free mini course to hand you. We've opened a can of worms. I want to make sure you've got this right, That's the way to get it. This will give you all the information you need to help you and your family prosper in this economy. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck.